Hi, I'm Kristina Kehrer reporting for NeighborMedia at CCTV. Today I talked with Jamie Flez, a young local stand-up comedian who taught me all the new language rules associated with gender and sexual identity. Thank you and enjoy.
Say, remember that time that same-sex marriage got legalized and it ruined everything for every straight person forever, just like they feared? Me neither. I'm really proud to live in Cambridge, though. 10 years. Same-sex marriage has been legal now, and Cambridge was the place that it started. Super sweet. Woo! Yay. The party has arrived! I was stopped by a woman who was a stranger to me. She stopped me in the street to talk to me about my skirt. Now, this isn't the first time that this has happened, but this is the first time it looked at the standard, not creepy stranger interaction formula of cute skirt. You know, thanks, it's awesome, because insert reason here. Where'd you get it? Oh, insert store name here and have a nice life. I just got this one.
Oh, Catholic schoolgirl.
Yep, I finally have a Catholic schoolgirl skirt, and this is the first skirt I ever bought.
Now, how'd your mom feel about this?
My mom doesn't know.
Oh, she doesn't know. Okay, so hopefully she doesn't watch CCTV.
I don't think she does. She lives in Wakefield.
Okay, cool.
And then I got this one, which is so loud. It's so colorful.
That's such a Christmas skirt.
Isn't that fun? And it perfectly matches a scarf that I have that I don't know where it is right now. Oh, it's right here.
What happens if you wear this skirt home for Christmas?
Then I come out to my parents as trans. Surprise! And then, if you come over
Will
here...
they cry?
I don't think they'll cry.
Okay.
Then I have this whole drawer here. Okay.
Okay, Jamie.
Hello.
Hello. I hope we're getting your hair in the shot, because your hair is pretty spectacular. There you go.
How about if I lean back here?
Yeah,
Is that
that's good? That's good.
Nice.
So tell me, how old are you?
I'm 25.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up around here, actually. I did a lot of my growing up in Malden. Yeah. And then my family and I moved to Wakefield.
Did you perform as a child?
In a sense, yes. I didn't perform on a stage in front of audiences, unless you count my parents. But I was a major goofball and I was a wacky child. Very, very shy until I was like putting on a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was funny.
When did stand-up become an option for you?
So socially I broke out of my shell when I was around 19, and I had a friend who was running a variety show at the time, like an open mic sort of thing that was a safe space for trans people. So she invited me in to come see the show.
Did you go because it was performance-based, or because you were already kind of looking for your people?
That was around the time that I was starting to look for my people.
Okay.
Because I realized that I was queer and wanted to hang out with other queers.
When you say you're queer, does that mean you're gay?
In a sense, yeah. So queer is a very broad term.
Okay.
Because I like women and I like men and I like people that aren't women or men.
You're bi, but now the added twist is that some males and females are neither, either,
Exactly.
and or above.
Yeah.
So at an early age, you kind of felt attracted to various people.
Yeah, that started
all
when I was a
persuasions.
teenager.
And at some point, did you also kind of question, now you're a male, you were born a male.
I was born male, yep.
So did you question that?
So there are studies done that show that people can start identifying as trans as early as like 1 or 2 years old.
Oh.
So when I was a little kid, before I started kindergarten, my family and I would like play house, and I always wanted to be the mommy, and I like stole my mom's clothes and kept wearing them around the house and stole her makeup and tried to put it on and all this other stuff. And I just demonstrated all of these characteristics that are typically identified with little girls.
Yep.
But my family didn't know what to do with that, so they just like taught me to be a boy, basically.
Okay.
And my entire life I've always been proud of the fact that I'm a very feminine man. Like, I've never been very masculine.
Yes.
And then I realized a few years ago that, like, I've been feeling this way my whole life. Why don't I just own that?
So by 19, are you identifying as trans?
No, that happened around when I was 22, 23.
In my brain, I always vision like a spectrum, like everybody.
Yeah.
And people
And you just slide?
And you slide, and even individually, I think I don't think you're stagnant on the spectrum. Like some days you're more macho, some days you're more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And it just it's like a pendulum, it swings back and forth.
Yep.
And I think that, honestly, homophobic people, if they would just envision that in their head and accept it, like, we wouldn't have a problem.
That would be awesome, and I agree. So what you're describing is what's typically referred to as gender fluid, which is one of the identities that us newfangled kids have come up with.
Right.
For me, it's sort of like a pie chart, and there's a little slice where every once in a while I feel like I'm in boy mode, and I dress in boy clothes and deepen my voice on purpose and stuff like that. And then there's a larger slice where I feel like I'm in girl mode. And then the rest of it, I feel like I have no gender at all, which is agender. There's a term for that. When I started figuring this stuff out, I was going by genderqueer, which is a term that has come up more and more in the past 5 or 10 years or so. And it's been around forever, just like most other gender identities and sexualities. But we've really started like working on making terms and defining them to make it easy to explain to other people. We meaning trans people as a whole.
Okay, so for your sexuality, you're
pansexual.
Pansexual.
Yes.
Which means?
It means that I'm attracted to everyone regardless of what their junk looks like.
Gender. What term do you use to describe yourself?
So, calling myself genderqueer is probably the easiest thing to do.
Okay.
Because that's a blanket term.
Okay.
When I say trans, it's trans with an asterisk at the end, which is an umbrella term for all the newfangled. Yeah. So it's like if you imagine a flowchart.
Yeah.
And here's gender, and then that breaks into cisgender and trans with the asterisk. So if you're cisgendered, it means that, I'm born male and I'm a man, or I'm born female and I'm a woman.
Can you spell that?
CISGENDER.
Okay.
Cisgendered. And then trans with the star is the start of all the other gender identities. Agender, gender fluid, gender queer, all that stuff. And one of them is transgendered or transsexual, which is when you're going to change your body. Or, like, you're born male and you feel like you're a woman or whatever.
Are there classes one can take to figure out?
There are websites. I don't know if there are classes, but there are URLs. So I use gender-neutral pronouns. I use they, them, their, instead of he, him, his.
Okay, wait. I knew about the they. Which other one?
They, them, their is just what you use instead of he, him, his.
Yeah.
It's often portrayed just as like the 3 pronouns, so you reinforce it more. But if someone mispronouns me, if someone uses he for me, I don't get offended. The thing that offends me is if I'm at a party and someone is blatantly interacting with me as if I were like a stereotypical man when I'm clearly not. I've had people come up to me at parties and like start trying to be like bro at me and trying to get me to interact with them on that level, and I'm just like, what are you doing? I'm not a bro or even a man. Like, as a general rule of thumb, we're taught socially in the trans community, like, if someone asks for a certain pronoun set, you use that pronoun set regardless of what you want to use, because, like, it's their choice it's like their name. Like, if they go by a certain name, you're going to call them by that name because that's what they request.
Now, why do you guys think it's so necessary to have all these titles and categories?
Well, this language developed so that way we could describe ourselves better, like in more detail. It's just the same way like someone has a nickname because their name is 10 syllables long. It's just a shorthand.
Do you perform stand-up to entertain yourself, or is it a way to inform and educate people about gender neutrality?
That's a really good question, and I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
One of the goals that I have when I do stand-up is to prove that trans people and people of like different identities than the binary can be funny too without being the butts of jokes.
Okay. How do you feel about tranny?
Tranny historically, It historically is a derogatory term. It's just like fag or dyke, where some people are still offended by it because it's historically
Is dyke
been
offensive?
used.
Oh my
To
god!
some. Well,
Thank goodness I got here. I mean, there's dykes on bikes.
yeah. And
They
like
seem-
the dyke march and
They seem happy with it.
yeah. Yeah. I think dyke is a little bit more widespread in its reclaiming than fag is.
When did it go out of fashion? Or become?
I'm not sure.
All right.
I'm not too familiar with the history. I just know that fag, dyke, and tranny are words that I avoid saying.
Fag, dyke, and tranny.
Yeah.
Fag, dyke, and tranny. But queer's okay.
Yeah.
You have more skirts than me, and I am a chick.
Well, I also have a lot of
Are
pins.
we allowed to say chick? All right. Well, JB, I learned a lot.
Yay.
I'm gonna try and be a little more considerate and less feisty.
I don't think you can ever be less feisty.
Well, okay. Thank you. You've already seemed to got me pegged correctly. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.